All right, let's talk about the Farragut Tennessee housing market. If you were paying attention in 2025, you know things felt, well, a little different. We're going to break down exactly what happened and, more importantly, what it all means for you heading into 2026.
In 2025, anyone watching the Farragut market could just feel a change in the air. That absolute frenzy from the past few years, homes selling in a matter of hours with a dozen offers, that started to give way to something else, something more thoughtful.
So what was really going on? Was this the crash everyone talks about, a big cool down? The story here, it's not about a collapse. Not at all. It's about a super high demand market that's finally catching its breath and finding some balance after a wild, wild run. Okay, let's really get into it.
First things first, to really get what happened in 2025, you have to understand that Farragut isn't just another suburb. Its whole foundation, economically and socially, is just incredibly solid, and that's what really shields it from those major market shocks you see elsewhere.
Think of it like a four-legged stool. You've got these four pillars holding the whole market up. You have the amazing schools that are a huge magnet for families. You've got that strong luxury brand that really protects home values. There's a constant, steady stream of professionals and retirees moving in. And maybe the biggest one, they just can't make any more land in Farragut.
And that land scarcity, wow, that is a huge deal. Because Farragut is pretty much built out, it creates this permanent supply problem. There just aren't enough homes to go around, especially in that really popular sweet spot price range. And that, right there, is a key reason why long-term values stay so strong.
So, with that foundation in mind, let's look at the actual numbers from 2025. The data doesn't lie, and boy does it tell a fascinating story about a market finding its footing.
Okay, this is probably the most important point to understand. Prices leveled off. They did not fall. Just look at this chart. You see those top two lines? They're basically flattening out through the year. It's the perfect picture of a market tapping the brakes, not slamming into reverse. And here's why things felt so different on the ground. For the first time in what felt like forever, the number of homes for sale, that's the blue line here, started to creep up. It wasn't a flood of homes, but it was just enough to give buyers a little breathing room and a few more choices. You didn't have to make a life-changing decision in 10 minutes anymore.
And because buyers had more choices, well, this happened. Homes started staying on the market just a little bit longer. You can see the average days on market bouncing around a bit, but the trend was clearly up from those crazy boom years. This is a classic, healthy sign that things are getting back to normal.
To put a hard number on it, the average home was selling in about 45 to 65 days. Now compare that to the single-digit days we saw at the peak of the frenzy. It's a huge shift. We went from a seller's 100-meter dash to more of a strategic marathon for everybody involved. Okay, so the data tells us what happened, but the people actually buying and selling the houses, they tell us why. The story of demand in 2025 is really a tale of two very different buyers.
On one hand, you had the relocation buyers. A lot of them were coming in from places like California or the Northeast. They showed up ready to go, pre-approved, and frankly, they saw Farragut prices as a bargain. They really kept the market moving. But on the other hand, you had local folks looking to move up, and they were a lot more cautious. A lot of them just weren't willing to trade their 3% mortgage for a 7% one.
So, you might be thinking, wait, rates were high, why didn't prices fall? Well, this is your answer. While those higher rates definitely gave local buyers a reason to pause, Farragut's core demand, it never went away. The area just consistently attracts financially secure buyers, doctors, scientists, business owners, who could absorb the higher payments, and that kept the whole market stable. Okay, so that was the look in the rearview mirror at 2025. Now let's turn all this information into a real plan of action. This is your playbook for navigating the Farragut market in 2026, whether you're looking to buy or thinking about selling. So what's the forecast? It's not another crazy boom, and it's definitely not a bust. The best way to describe it is cautiously optimistic. The market's foundation is just too strong for a drop, but that period of insane price growth has definitely cooled off. To be specific, we're looking at prices staying stable, with the potential for some modest growth somewhere in that 2 to 5% range. It's really a return to a more normal, sustainable, healthy market. And these are the 4 big things to keep your eye on in 2026. Any little change in interest rates could bring a wave of buyers back. That relocation demand isn't going anywhere. How many homes hit the market this spring will really set the tone for the year. And finally, The condition of a home matters more now than it has in years.
So if you're a buyer, listen up. There's a real window of opportunity here. Shopping now, while the market is more balanced, means you have more power to negotiate. If you wait around for rates to drop significantly, guess what? You'll be right back to competing with a flood of other buyers.
And for sellers, the game has absolutely changed. The days of just sticking a sign in the yard and getting 20 offers are over. Your winning formula is simple. You have to price your home for today's market, not the peak of 2022. You have to invest in making it look fantastic, because buyers expect value. And if you do those things, your home will absolutely still get top dollar.
So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. In this new, more balanced market, the game isn't about trying to perfectly time interest rates. It's about being ready. The real question you should be asking yourself is, are you prepared to make your move when the right opportunity, the one that's right for you, finally comes along?